Hi, welcome back to another Astrology and Makeup Monday. We're going to be talking all about Scorpio moons today, and I'm actually at the same time going to be making a really cool connection with Greek mythology. And I'm super excited about this because I've been researching and doing so much work and just so much preparation for all of this, and I'm so excited for you guys to see it. So let's jump into it and let me tell you all about Scorpio moon and why I chose the costume, the Halloween look, the Greek god Hades. Okay, so first things first, you guys, I made this really cool connection while I was researching all of the moon signs. Before we really get into that connection and how I made the connection between the zodiac signs and the Greek mythology gods and goddesses, let me tell you what your moon sign means. So if you don't know what your moon sign is, a way to find out is you can go to basically most websites, I feel like, because it's just so trending now, will tell you what your moon sign is. Basically, your moon sign is determined. You need all that information. You know when you're on a date and someone's like, what time are you born? And you're just like, run. But you need to know the time that you were born. And it cannot be about, it has to be exact so that you can have everything else be in line as well. But once you find out your moon sign, simply, your moon sign means emotions. So the best way to think about it is whatever your moon sign is, and your moon sign is going to be different from your sun sign, of course. It could be the same actually, but most likely, it is going to be different, but whatever zodiac sign you are in the moon, that is essentially what your characteristics are as, when it comes to your emotions. I'm gonna just prime my eyes with some Urban Decay primer potion and some Tarte Shape Tape. If you guys wanna know any of the products that I use in this whole video, they're going to be in the description down below, but I'm also going to show them on the screen as well. What? Okay, now that we fixed the bug problem. So with all of the zodiac signs, I made this really cool connection between a Greek god or goddess and the zodiac sign. So the way that I kind of did the research and figured it out, because I feel like there's so many trending things going on right now, like with people creating a Greek god or goddess, but historically it doesn't fit. And I kind of want to explain how I came to deciding on all of the signs and their appropriate Greek god and or goddess. So the astrology that we personally study in the United States is Western astrology, and Western astrology stemmed from the Babylonians. If you guys watched my video on the history of astrology, you would know this. But basically it started out with the Babylonians, and then the Greeks took it, and then the Romans captured the Greeks and took on a different version of astrology. And basically, in mythology, I basically worked backwards. And the best way to do that is to research the zodiac sign and figure out, I didn't actually make this connection like this, but I'm gonna make it easier for you guys so you understand how I made all of these connections, and then we'll really get into a Scorpio moon and why I chose Hades for my Scorpio moon over here. So in modern astrology, Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto. In Roman mythology, the god Pluton, do we see the connection there? Pluton, Pluto, is the god of the underworld. The equivalent to Pluton in Greek mythology is actually Hades. So it all kind of comes in this big circle of it all just like connects together. Why this makes utterly so much sense is because Pluto, the planet Pluto, whenever and whatever sign you have in Pluto, and most people actually around my age do have, which I'm 27, most people have Pluto in their chart as Scorpio. But the reason why it's so cool and it just makes so much sense is because Pluto is actually the planet that describes birth, rebirth, birth, like rebirth and death. And that is the epitome of Scorpio. I have my Hades look right here. I know we all think of Hades as the god of the underworld from the movie Hercules, but I really wanted to give this a spin-off, a twist, and there are so many things that just scream like more serpenty to me in Hades and the myth behind Hades. Hades was very like matter of fact. In Hercules, the movie, Hades was very like funny, very like deathly, and the actual myth behind Hades is really not that like that if you know if it's all about death. Hades does rule the underworld in, I believe, all of the myths, but it's more of a way of this rebirth. And I think I've read in one of my books I was reading, and it's like this feeling of rebirth is so difficult, and I think this very heavily aligns with Scorpio moons because the moon is so emotional, so it makes Scorpio that much more like feeling and emotions driven than it already is, but it's in the underworld, and Scorpio moons are hiding all of these emotions. And Hades being the god of the underworld, you know, there's this below the surface and rebirth. So you're going through this process of like birth and rebirth are both really difficult processes or processes. What is the right English for that? And I think that truly defines the epitome of a Scorpio, but definitely a Scorpio moon for sure. All right, let me put these green contacts on. We'll finish the eyeliner and we'll chat more about Scorpio moons now that you guys understand why I chose Hades as the god for Scorpio. So as I was saying before, Scorpio likes to be with the planet Pluto, vice versa. But we're talking about the moon here. So Scorpio is actually one of the most challenging signs to be a moon sign because it just brings it to the deepest depths that Scorpio could possibly be. Scorpios are already so emotional and so deep, and being in the moon, and the moon being a feminine planet and having these feminine characteristics and heavily in emotions, it pushes Scorpio to just be that much more intense. So Scorpio moons are very clever. They're very clever and they're very good at hiding their actual true feelings. And this is really interesting because Scorpio moons, just kind of like Sun Scorpios, are absolutely terrified of their own emotions. Terrified. So they keep them locked in and hidden inside of them. And they really don't let it out for anyone except for people that they truly trust. So if a Scorpio moon is telling you their deepest, darkest secrets, you got an in. This like ability to basically deaden feelings like they don't even exist really makes a Scorpio moon feel like they're in control, when in actuality it in the long run is going to do the opposite for them. I think that the most important and the most interesting thing about Scorpio that I've learned, Scorpio moons that I've learned in this process, is that if as a Scorpio moon you are able to finally just accept and actually feel your feelings and feel your pain, you'll be able to live the most beautiful life. Scorpio moons have so much willpower and their intuition is chef's kiss. It's so good. So whenever a Scorpio moon tells you that they don't like someone because of X, Y, and Z, or they're getting a bad vibe, believe them 100%. It's really interesting that Scorpio moons, like the one thing they always say and think about Scorpios is that they are and can be some of the most negative people. Of course, this depends on so many different aspects, but I think that it comes down to the fact that Scorpio moons specifically just like get the shit end of the stick. And while this is really sad and kind of a negative aspect of having a Scorpio moon, it gives Scorpio moons such great willpower to push forward and do everything that they possibly can accomplish. In the same way Scorpio moons have really, really good intuition, they also never forget anything. So the last person that you want to do wrong to is a Scorpio moon, because they will remember every single word that you ever said, exactly how you said it, and most especially they will remember the exact feelings, specifically and more so negative feelings, but good ones too, of how you made them feel. So let's do no wrong to Scorpios. Okay, Scorpio moons specifically, but let's do no wrong. Thank you. So as I said, Scorpio moons have this like very intense, like just look, not only just like look to them, but they are super intense people as well, which is why, honestly, I've said this so many times, I've always wanted to be a Scorpio. I'm freaking Pisces, but I feel like there's this badassery to a Scorpio, and with a Scorpio moon, everything is just like so intensified. So a Scorpio's passion and sexuality is so heightened in the moon position, and it really makes Scorpio moons amazing at jobs and positions where they can be self-sacrificing. Work is super important to Scorpio moons because it's their way of expressing themselves and being a bigger part of something. And I think the ambitiousness and the drive and the strength in regards to Scorpio moons, just unfortunately being the ones who receive or face the most obstacles, this kind of shines through in their work as well. Their persistence, their drive, their motivation, and their, you know, just continuousness to move forward and keep going. I would say that Scorpios are just have this like sensuality and sexuality where they just completely attract everyone to them, and I completely agree. As I said, always wanted to be a Scorpio, always have found women and men who are Scorpios to be very, very hot, but I stayed clear now. So Scorpio moons in a relationship are absolutely terrified. They just don't want to give their power away, and hiding their feelings is basically their control. That's their power. And when you're in a relationship, obviously that's not something that you hide. You don't hide your feelings. So they feel very, very vulnerable in a position like that. They think that any type of protection, any type of security is never enough, and it's never going to be enough for them. But when Scorpio in a relationship truly, truly understands themselves, Scorpio moon in a relationship, when they truly, truly understand themselves and have full trust in their partner and vice versa, it is a beautiful thing. And I think what's interesting, if you are a Scorpio moon and you are curious, is to look up, and I'm gonna completely butcher her name, Persephone, but Hades and we're gonna say Persephone, their relationship was very interesting. And as I was doing a lot of research, I guess there's a lot of like gamers and a lot of like gaming that really love this relationship between the two, because you have Persephone, I really don't think that's right, who is this more earthy being, and then you have like this dark, secretive Hades. So it's kind of like, I feel like the story or the plot of every love story that we hear about in movies and TV shows, where you have like the badass boy and then this very, very sweet girl, and the sweet girl turns the badass boy. And I feel like that is the perfect example and the epitome of a Scorpio relationship. So, some characteristics, some general characteristics of Scorpio moons, positive ones. We have persistent, determined, imaginative, ambitious, emotional, of course, and idealistic, which I feel like could be a positive or negative, depending on how you see it. I think that a Scorpio moon being idealistic is really interesting because there's this like, they're idealistic, but they're also imaginative, so they're kind of seeing all sides to it. So then we have some negatives, and don't worry, we all have negatives in every single one of the moon signs and signs in general. The first one is obstinate or obstinate, and I want to look up what this means. Stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or chosen course of action despite attempts to persuade one to do so. Very difficult to change or overcome. So, in short, Scorpio moon, you are stubborn as hell. Thank you. And then of course we have secretive, and I feel like this more so has to do with Scorpio's own feelings about themselves or how they feel about, I mean, I think it's just feelings in general. Very secretive with feelings, very secretive with just keeping that like resentment locked inside of them until it needs to come out. And of course we have resentful. We also have domineering, which I can definitely see. I feel like sometimes that like intensity and like powerful ability, honestly, to just completely like swallow one's emotions and and feelings and not allow them to like surface and pretend on the outside, even though it's gonna kill a Scorpio moon on the inside, pretend to everyone around them that they are so badass and that they have no feelings at all. I feel like could come off as very domineering when in actuality behind closed doors they're crying their ass off. And the last characteristic I have written down here is jealous. And if you can't see that after everything I just told you, I don't know what to tell you. So as you guys know, most of the astrology base stuff that I learn about for you comes from the book Everything You Need to Know, the only book that you need in astrology. Let me get the exact title because I'm over here trying to think, like making you think I know what the title is. The only astrology book you will ever need. But I was actually reading this one, The Cosmic Calendar, and it says something really interesting about Scorpio that I kind of want to read to you because I feel like we don't talk about it enough, how there are like basically the time of year that these signs are in. And for Scorpio, as we know, is in autumn, and it's in like the dead of autumn moving into winter. And we have Halloween during this time, and we also have during this time a very important like crop kind of season where the crops basically die because it gets too cold. But it says, autumn was often associated with the sun's descent into the underworld in ancient cultures as fields grew barren and trees redirected their energy from their branches down into their roots sunk beneath the soil. This is the realm of the dead, and it's no coincidence that Halloween and All Souls Day and, what is that, Dia de los Muertos is on, I really hope I pronounced that right, but that is on, I believe, the 2nd or the 3rd of November as well, which is the Day of the Dead. I believe it's a Mexican holiday, and those are all celebrated when the sun is in Scorpio. But I think that this goes back to what I was saying before about Scorpio being Hades, and Hades being a representation of rebirth, because when these plants and the harvest grows barren, it always comes back. So the underworld basically gives it a home for just a short period of time until it's ready to come up and be rebirthed. So we have this book actually saying that Scorpios aren't afraid of the dark, which I believe. I think it's very true. Scorpios aren't afraid of the dark. I think that they're just afraid of themselves within that darkness. I think we also already talked about how Scorpios kind of have like this calloused heart, and it's not because it's a hardened brick wall type of heart. It's just that you are well experienced and well versed on what it feels like to love and be hurt by that person or thing that you love. So I feel like we're over here. We gotta give Scorpios just like a little bit more credit. Let's put these little emerald rhinestones on. I feel like they're very fitting. I'm curious as to like what you guys' thoughts are on this take on Hades and on Scorpio. Here are those rhinestones. Alright guys, this is the final look. What do you think? These contacts have been bothering me the whole time, and this crown is falling off my head and my boob's popping out, but I think this came out so good. Definitely, like, let's see, let's compare. I think we got the vibe here. So this is the final look. I hope you learned a lot about Scorpio moons today and a little about Hades, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this makeup look slash Halloween costume. And if you are a Scorpio moon, you have a strong inner core of self-reliance, an arresting sensuality, and a magnetic flair for influencing others. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you in the next video. Leave your moon sign down below and let me know what yours is, and leave a guess for what you think mine is.